Right now, something unprecedented is unfolding in our solar system, and most people have no idea. As a theoretical physicist who has spent decades studying the limits of the universe, I never thought I'd witness something like this in my lifetime. But the object known as 31/Atlas is forcing even the most experienced minds to reconsider everything we thought we knew about interstellar phenomena. Just 3 days ago, the James Webb Space Telescope performed a high-resolution infrared scan of 31/Atlas as it approached the inner solar system. Initially, the team expected a routine compositional analysis: ice, dust, perhaps some trace organic molecules. What they found instead was extraordinary. Something inside the object was structured, not random, not natural, but deliberate. Dr. Sarah Chun, one of the lead astrophysicists at the Space Telescope Science Institute, noticed the anomaly first. Within the hollow interior of 31/Atlas, the infrared readings indicated geometric patterns repeating with mathematical precision, spacing exactly 123 meters apart across hundreds of meters of internal volume. In natural celestial bodies, you never see this level of regularity. Crystalline structures can repeat at atomic or molecular scales, but at architectural scales? Impossible. When the team cross-checked the readings with NASA's radar observations, the results confirm the same pattern. Something inside 31/Atlas was actively organized. But even that was only the beginning. Within just 12 hours, the telescope detected a change in the infrared signature. Certain absorption bands strengthened, others diminished, indicating that the internal structure was not static. Something inside was moving, reorganizing, as though preparing for some event. The implications were terrifying. Think about it. An object that has traveled through interstellar space for potentially millions of years, surviving radiation, cosmic impacts, and extreme temperatures, and inside, something is still functioning. No biological crew, no living intelligence, just automated systems operating with precision far beyond human engineering. Some colleagues suggested it could be a natural phenomenon, a rare type of crystallization or metallic aggregation. But the geometry, the movement, and the scale of these structures cannot occur naturally. This is engineering at a level beyond anything humanity has ever built, and the patterns suggest intelligent design. The first clues emerged from spectral analysis. The infrared absorption bands were regular, repeating at exact intervals, forming what appeared to be internal chambers or conduits. These were not uniform random voids. They were deliberately placed, geometrically precise. And as the object approached perihelion, the rate of internal change accelerated. What does that mean? It could imply a form of autonomous programming preset millions of years ago, now activating at a precise point in its trajectory. If this is true, then 31/Atlas is not just a comet or asteroid, but a self-operating machine of some kind. Meanwhile, the mass calculations only deepen the mystery. Based on its size, 31/Atlas should weigh billions of tons. Instead, its gravitational effect was negligible, implying an internally hollow but engineered mass distribution. Combined with the internal structures, this was a vessel-like object, hollow yet purposeful, designed for some function we have yet to understand. The implications are profound. For decades, we've speculated about autonomous probes, self-replicating von Neumann machines, and long-duration interstellar objects. 31/Atlas might be our first direct encounter with such technology. But unlike science fiction, this is not hypothetical. The data is real, measurable, and undeniable. Even more chilling, the internal reconfiguration suggests that the object may be reactive. It might sense its environment, adjust its structure, or even prepare for an interaction we cannot predict. This is not an idle comet. It is a complex, functioning system. In short, 31/Atlas has just exposed a hidden structure inside, a structure so advanced it surpasses our understanding of natural or artificial objects in space. And it is more terrifying than anything alien we've imagined, because it challenges the very limits of physics, engineering, and civilization. Over the next hours and days, more observations are planned. Every major telescope, every space agency, is now focused on this mysterious object. What we learn could rewrite our understanding of interstellar travel, artificial intelligence, and the survival of technology across eons. And yet, the scariest question remains. Why is it here, now, and what is it waiting for? As the James Webb Space Telescope continued its deep scan of 31/Atlas, the results became even more unsettling. The internal structure that had initially appeared as repeating geometric patterns now revealed chambers, tunnels, and voids, arranged with a precision that defied natural explanation. Dr. Sarah Chun and her team were among the first to model the internal layout. Using a combination of infrared tomography and gravitational anomaly mapping, they discovered that these internal cavities weren't random. Instead, they formed a hierarchical network, almost like an architectural blueprint. Some chambers were massive, hundreds of meters across, while others were slender corridors, connecting larger sections in ways that suggested purposeful design. The interior didn't merely reflect light, it reacted to it. Infrared emissions shifted as the object rotated, indicating internal surfaces adjusting, moving, or perhaps activating mechanisms within. It was as though 31/Atlas had a dynamic core, one capable of internal reconfiguration in response to external stimuli. The implications were staggering. Physicists around the world began running simulations. Could natural forces produce something like this? The answer was a clear, terrifying no. Even the most unusual cometary or asteroid models could not replicate the scale, precision, and adaptability observed. The arrangement of internal cavities suggested an engineered system, possibly intended for observation, transportation, or even self-preservation across millennia. Meanwhile, gravitational studies by Avi Loeb and his team provided another shock. The mass distribution of 31/Atlas was highly asymmetrical, yet internally optimized, indicating that this object was light enough to maneuver across interstellar space efficiently, but structurally robust enough to survive cosmic hazards. In other words, it had been purpose-built. Adding to the mystery were subtle rotational anomalies. 31/Atlas rotated with an almost perfect rhythm, far more stable than would be expected from a naturally tumbling comet. This stability suggested active internal stabilization, the kind of precision only possible with intelligent design. But the most unnerving discovery came from spectroscopic analysis. The internal walls appeared to be composed of unknown metallic or crystalline substances. These materials absorbed and reflected infrared radiation in ways that didn't match anything in NASA's databases. They were not ordinary metals, silicates, or ices. Whatever this substance was, it had physical properties outside our current understanding of chemistry and material science. Scientists began to speculate. Could this be alien technology? Or was it the remains of a long-extinct civilization, a self-sustaining probe sent eons ago to explore the galaxy? The evidence pointed to one terrifying conclusion. This was not a natural object. 31/Atlas was a machine, and its internal structure was the key to its purpose. Adding urgency to the situation was the object's proximity to perihelion. As 31/Atlas approached the inner solar system, internal activity appeared to accelerate. Infrared patterns shifted faster, and gravitational anomalies suggested slight, deliberate micro-adjustments in trajectory. The object was not inert. It was preparing, perhaps activating sequences set millions of years ago. Around the world, astronomers, engineers, and physicists were now watching closely. Every major observatory was trained on 31/Atlas, from the Atacama Large Millimeter Array in Chile to the Very Large Array in New Mexico. High-resolution imaging, spectroscopy, and radar monitoring were all focused on the object. And yet, no one could predict what it might do next. Dr. Chun, in a rare interview, summarized the collective anxiety. We are looking at something that has survived interstellar space for potentially millions of years, designed to operate autonomously and possibly intelligent. Its structure alone suggests an intelligence far beyond anything humanity has encountered. As the days passed, each new piece of data added more questions than answers. The internal architecture of 31/Atlas wasn't just complex, it was alive in a mechanical sense, capable of responding to stimuli, perhaps even anticipating observation. The most disturbing aspect? Every system we had ever observed, human or robotic, eventually decays or fails under extreme conditions. 31/Atlas, however, appeared perfectly preserved, as though it had been designed to endure and function for epochs, waiting for the right moment to reveal its purpose. And in that moment, as scientists peered deeper into its hidden structure, the terrifying realization began to settle in. We were not simply observing a cosmic object. We were witnessing a relic of intelligence designed to survive everything, perhaps even us. By the third day of continuous observation, the internal structure of 31/Atlas had revealed something even more unsettling. Motion. Not orbital motion or simple rotation, but internal reconfiguration. Shifts in the geometric patterns, corridors, and chambers that indicated the object was activating its internal systems. At first, scientists questioned their instruments. Could these changes be due to thermal expansion, radiation pressure, or data artifacts? Multiple observatories cross-checked results. All confirmed the same phenomenon. The object was adjusting its internal configuration deliberately. Something inside 31/Atlas was thinking, or at least executing pre-programmed sequences. Infrared spectroscopy detected energy fluctuations far beyond what a comet or asteroid could produce. These bursts were not random. They followed specific intervals, repeating with a precision that suggested timed mechanical or electromagnetic processes. The pattern resembled a metronome, yet the cadence adapted to external influences, solar radiation intensity, gravitational forces from nearby planets, and even Earth's own radio emissions. NASA scientists reported that these internal changes correlated with slight variations in its rotation rate. 31/Atlas was not spinning chaotically like a natural object. Instead, it maintained a stable, almost programmed rotation, adjusting minutely as if to orient itself for a purpose we could not yet discern. Dr. Elise Morano from ESA noted something that chilled the entire research team. We are observing an object that has spent millions, if not billions, of years traveling through interstellar space, and yet it is still able to respond to its environment. It's as if it has a built-in awareness. Gravitational data added another layer of mystery. The mass distribution inside 31/Atlas remained precisely controlled, resulting in micro-adjustments to its trajectory. These adjustments could not be explained by natural forces. No outgassing, no solar pressure, leaving the unsettling conclusion that propulsion or stabilization systems were operating autonomously. Spectroscopic analysis also revealed that the internal structure contained materials unknown to science. Metallic alloys, crystalline compounds, and other substances displayed extraordinary durability. They could withstand extreme cold, radiation, and the stresses of interstellar travel, yet remained fully operational. It was engineering perfected for longevity, something humanity has only begun to conceptualize. Meanwhile, inside control rooms at NASA, ESA, and private observatories worldwide, scientists debated the implications. Could this be a von Neumann probe, a self-replicating machine sent by an advanced civilization? The evidence seemed to point in that direction. Autonomous operation, long-term preservation, internal energy systems, and reactivity to observation. The situation escalated when radio telescopes detected faint emissions from 31/Atlas, previously undetected. Unlike natural radiation, these signals were structured, carrying a repeating pattern in low-frequency electromagnetic waves. The pattern was subtle but distinct, almost like a heartbeat or a clock. Scientists immediately recognized that this was not noise. It was communication or computation occurring inside the object. Dr. Michio Kaku commented in a private briefing, "If this is a machine, then it's beyond our current understanding. It's not simply intelligent. It's adaptive, resilient, and operating on a scale that challenges every assumption we have about interstellar engineering." The internal activity also suggested preparation for an external event. Small projections, shifts in mass distribution, and electromagnetic pulses indicated that 31/Atlas might be readying substructures or probes for deployment, though none had yet been observed. The object was not dormant, and its intentions remained incomprehensible. By the evening of the third day, global teams confirmed something even more alarming. The patterns of activity were synchronized across the entire internal structure. Sections hundreds of meters apart appeared to be coordinating their motion, energy output, and electromagnetic emission, as if controlled by a central command system. The implications were clear. 31/Atlas was an autonomous construct, self-monitoring and self-operating, capable of surviving eons of interstellar travel and responding intelligently to stimuli. It was no comet. It was no asteroid. It was something entirely unprecedented, and humanity had never encountered anything like it before. As astronomers watched in awe and fear, one realization emerged. The moment we could have touched or influenced this object had passed long ago. 31/Atlas was moving according to its own design, and whatever it was built to do, it was now executing its plan, silently, efficiently, and terrifyingly precise. By the fourth day of observation, 31/Atlas had begun sending signals that were impossible to ignore, not the random cosmic noise or solar emissions that astronomers are used to, but structured, repeating electromagnetic pulses emanating from the hidden structure within the object. These signals first appeared as low-frequency bursts, oscillating at intervals of exactly 11.7 hours, coinciding with the object's rotation. At first, researchers assumed they were artifacts of the instruments, perhaps interference from terrestrial or satellite systems. But as multiple independent observatories, including the Very Large Array in New Mexico and the Atacama Large Millimeter Array in Chile, detected identical pulses at precisely the same times, it became clear. This was real, and it was deliberate. Spectral analysis revealed that the signals were highly organized, patterns repeated with mathematical precision, resembling sequences used in digital communication, though the encoding was far beyond human technology. Dr. Sarah Chun explained, "It's as if the object is speaking a language designed to be recognized only by a civilization capable of understanding complex mathematical patterns." NASA convened an emergency team of astrophysicists, cryptographers, and AI specialists to analyze the data. Within hours, a chilling observation emerged. Embedded within the signals were echoes of Earth-based transmissions, fragments of old satellite communications, deep space probe telemetry, and even portions of the Voyager Golden Record. The realization struck everyone in the room like a thunderbolt. 31/Atlas had been observing us. For decades, it may have been silently monitoring our broadcasts, cataloging our technology, our presence, our location in the galaxy. Michio Kaku, during a private briefing, summarized the situation. If this is true, 31/Atlas is not simply a cosmic visitor. It's a probe, an autonomous observer, measuring the development of our civilization. And now, it has chosen to respond. But the nature of the response was puzzling. The electromagnetic bursts did not carry a clear message in human language. Instead, they transmitted complex binary sequences with embedded mathematical constants, prime numbers, and references to planetary orbits, perhaps a method to convey intelligence without direct communication. Global observatories recorded another anomaly. The object's internal structure appeared to react in real time to these signals. Subtle shifts in thermal emissions, infrared signatures, and rotation rates suggested a feedback loop, as if the object were testing the environment, responding to the very act of being observed. This revelation triggered intense debate among leading scientists. Could 31/Atlas be a self-replicating probe, similar to the von Neumann concept theorized in the 20th century? Could it have been traveling across the galaxy for millions of years, gathering data on countless star systems, and now finally interacting with humanity? Adding to the tension was the observation of a secondary energy pulse, much stronger than the initial emissions. Unlike the regular bursts, this pulse contained patterns that grew in complexity over time, almost as if the object were escalating its communication, testing the limits of our detection capabilities. Dr. Elise Morano, of the European Space Agency, noted the implications. If 31/Atlas is capable of observing us, understanding our electromagnetic signatures, and responding in a calculated manner, then it is not only intelligent, it's adaptive. It's actively engaging with us in a way that goes beyond any natural phenomenon. Meanwhile, public awareness remained limited. NASA released a cautious statement, referring to the signals as unexplained interstellar emissions, but internally, the language was far more urgent. Emergency briefings described the signals as structured, deliberate, and potentially interactive. The world was on the brink of a revelation. The signals were not a threat, at least not yet. They were something more unnerving. Proof of observation, of awareness, and of design. And as 31/Atlas moved closer to perihelion, the frequency, intensity, and complexity of these signals increased, as though the object were preparing for something or testing the readiness of those observing it. By the end of the fourth day, scientists reached a unanimous, albeit unsettling, conclusion. 31/Atlas is not merely passing through our solar system. It is interacting with it, with us, in ways that challenge our understanding of physics, engineering, and the limits of intelligence. The question remained, what would happen next? Would 31/Atlas remain silent after its initial signals, or was this just the beginning of an unprecedented interaction? One that could reshape humanity's understanding of the universe? As 31/Atlas continued its inexorable approach toward perihelion, the implications of what we were observing grew ever more unsettling. The structured signals, the internal reconfiguration, and the hidden architecture all suggested one undeniable truth. This was not a natural object, and it was not merely an observer. It was a complex, autonomous system, executing instructions set possibly millions of years ago, now activating as it entered the inner solar system. Global observatories and space agencies were now on high alert. The countdown was palpable. Less than 2 weeks until October 29th, the day 31/Atlas would reach its closest approach to the Sun. Scientists speculated that whatever event the object was preparing for would likely coincide with this date, whether it involved releasing smaller probes, activating energy systems, or performing maneuvers to change its trajectory. Infrared and radar data revealed subtle but deliberate micro-movements in its internal structure. Chambers shifted, corridors aligned differently, and energy readings spiked in patterns that resembled synchronization sequences. It was as though 31/Atlas were waking up, preparing for some cosmic event whose nature remained beyond our comprehension. Dr. Sarah Chin summarized the collective concern in a confidential briefing. We are observing an object that has survived the harshest environments of interstellar space, that has engineered itself to respond to external stimuli, and that now may be poised to act within our solar system. Every calculation points to a purpose. The question is, what is that purpose? The James Webb Space Telescope continued monitoring the object, capturing unprecedented detail. The outer shell of 31/Atlas, initially assumed to be ice and silicate, displayed exotic material properties. Spectroscopy revealed compounds not matching anything on the periodic table. Metallic glasses or unknown alloys capable of withstanding radiation, extreme cold, and solar heating. These materials suggested engineering far beyond human capability, possibly designed to protect delicate internal mechanisms over millions of years of interstellar travel. Simultaneously, the electromagnetic signals had evolved. The previously steady pulses now incorporated complex modulation, almost as if the object were encoding a form of data or a message. Mathematical analysis hinted at references to planetary systems, orbital mechanics, and even patterns resembling prime number sequences. It became clear 31/Atlas was not simply reacting, it was intelligently processing information. Michio Kaku weighed in privately on the gravity of the situation. We are witnessing a machine that may have traveled across the galaxy, autonomous and intelligent, now capable of interacting with our solar system. The physical principles it employs, from material science to energy management, could rewrite everything we know about interstellar engineering. This is far beyond speculation. It is an imminent reality. As October 29th approached, speculation turned to possible scenarios. Would 31/Atlas deploy smaller probes? Would it alter its orbit to enter a stable solar orbit, or even target a specific planet? Could it be designed to observe without interfering, or was it a probe with a mission we cannot yet fathom? The uncertainty was both exhilarating and terrifying. Meanwhile, the public remained largely unaware of the imminent encounter. NASA and ESA kept their warnings technical, citing anomalous interstellar object behavior, but the data shared internally told a different story. This was one of the most significant astronomical discoveries in history, and humanity was staring into the face of intelligence far beyond our comprehension. The final, chilling revelation came from the pattern of internal changes. The reconfiguration of 31/Atlas was accelerating as it neared perihelion. Thermal emissions, rotational adjustments, and electromagnetic modulation all indicated that activation thresholds were being reached. Whatever mechanism controlled the object was now fully operational. Dr. Elise Morano captured the global anxiety succinctly. We've observed self-contained intelligent systems before, our own probes, AI, robotics, but nothing designed to endure, adapt, and function across millions of years. 31/Atlas is both a warning and a mirror. It forces us to ask, how long can our civilization endure? And what legacy will we leave that can survive the cosmic tides? As the countdown ticked toward October 29th, humanity faced a decision. We could retreat into denial, pretending this was a comet, an asteroid, or a natural phenomenon. Or we could confront the reality. A machine older than any human civilization, traveling across the galaxy, possibly observing us, and poised to demonstrate capabilities that could challenge everything we know about physics, technology, and life itself. In the final hours before perihelion, scientists around the globe held their breath. The signals were intensifying, the internal structures reconfiguring with increasing speed, and the trajectory calculations suggested deliberate positioning near key points in the solar system. October 29th would not be a mere astronomical observation. It would be the moment humanity finally faced an intelligence from beyond the stars, a relic of advanced engineering that had survived eons and now demanded our attention. And as 31/Atlas approached its closest solar encounter, one truth became undeniable. This object has a purpose, and we are witnessing the awakening of something far older and far more capable than ourselves. The universe, it seems, had just handed humanity a cosmic riddle, and for the first time, the answer might not come in words, but in the unfolding actions of a machine older than civilization itself.